Hey everyone, and welcome back. Hope you're having a fantastic day so far. So the other day we went over the 15 best states that you can get the most bang out of your buck for your Social Security benefits. But in today's video, we're actually going to be going over the 15 worst states that you could be living in to get the least bang for your buck as far as your Social Security benefits and hard-earned money goes. Also, we're going to be going over some recent polling, which shows that contrary to popular belief, Americans are actually more excited about the future of Social Security benefits, so we'll be covering that as well. But before we go ahead and dive into the main content of today's video, if you wouldn't mind helping out real quickly by just giving this video a like, that just helps out with the good old YouTube algorithm, and also consider subscribing to my channel if you have not already. Plus, if you would like to receive a few free stocks in a pinned comment below, I will be leaving a couple of different links where you can receive just that. And with Webull, all you have to do is open an account and then deposit at least 1 penny. Once you do so, you will be receiving 20 stocks for free. Each stock will be worth at least $3, so that's going to be $60 in free stocks. And then at that point, you can always sell those stocks and then transfer the $60 or more that you receive right back to your bank account. So right around this holiday season, that might be just what we need to get through these tough times. But diving right into today's video, of course, we're going to have our lead story about a new bill that is going to be introduced next week by the GOP. So there was actually a movie released recently by a company called the Daily Wire, and the movie title was called Lady Ballers, and it's exactly what it sounds like. Basically, it was a group of older men who used to go to high school together, and they're not feeling too well about how things are going. So what they decided to do is they actually all throw on wigs. They're men, they all throw on wigs, and then they go in to compete in a bunch of different women's sports, and apparently they absolutely dominate as they would. I mean, it's men against women. It's not really a level playing field, contrary to what some people might say. So basically, I mean, I haven't watched it yet, and obviously there's a lot of controversy, maybe surrounding that movie, maybe surrounding transgender men who transition into being women. And then them competing in women's sports. Of course, we had Leah Thomas, who won the national championship as a swimmer, formerly being a male and then transitioning to be a female. A lot of controversy around that. But basically, the Republicans are going to be introducing a bill in the House banning transgenders from competing in the other sports. So according to The Hill, House Republicans are planning to launch a second legislative effort to bar transgender women and girls from competing on female school sports teams, cementing the issue as a priority for the GOP ahead of 2024. The proposed, quote, Save Women's Sports Act would require public K-12 schools and colleges to designate sports teams, including intramural and club teams, based on sex assigned at birth rather than gender identity. The bill's restrictions would also apply to private schools that receive federal finance assistance, according to a draft obtained by The Hill. And they say here that also the House passed a separate bill to prevent transgender women and girls from competing on school sports teams in April, and the measure, which passed in a party line 219 to 203 vote, has not been taken up by the Senate, which is controlled by Democrats. And also Biden said that he would veto the bill if it ever ended up passing. Now, obviously, I don't think any of this or none of this should be an attack against transgender people. They should be treated equally just as like anyone else. But it's also a whole other issue when we have people who are born as men and are men for, let's say, 18, 15 years of their life or however long, and then they suddenly transition into being girls. They should not be allowed to compete with women. And once again, this is not supposed to be an attack against them. They should be treated fairly and equally. But it's a whole other issue when they're going to have a lot more muscle than the people they're competing against. It's exactly why we have rules against steroids. It wouldn't be fair to, let's say, have like a bodybuilding contest where we have all these guys who are competing naturally without drugs, and then we have someone like Ronnie Coleman step on the stage who's been taking steroids and other drugs and competing against them. It just would not be a fair contest. Now, let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section below with all that. But we're going to go ahead and move into the main topic of today's video, or one of the main topics of today's video. And like I mentioned earlier on, I had a video a few days ago where I actually went over the best states that you can live in as far as your Social Security benefits go and making your money go the furthest. In today's video, we're actually going to be going over the 15 worst states. Of course, this is according to Yahoo News. So let me know in the comment section below if you live in one of these states, if you have any disagreements against this list. But we're going to dive right into the list for today. So at 15th, we have Maine. So their insider monkey rank is 6.45 with the cost of living index at 110.7. Next on the list, we have New Jersey. New Jersey here at 14th. Do we have any people living in the state of New Jersey? Obviously one of the more pricier states to live in. Then at 13th, we have Colorado. Coming in at 12th is Hawaii. Anyone here living in Hawaii, or anyone knows that anyone that is living in Hawaii, obviously a very expensive state all around. Then at 11th, we have Connecticut. Rounding out the top 10, we have Alaska. Their insider monkey rank is 7.2 with a cost of living index of 126.4. Even though they are very tax friendly, obviously still a very pricey state to live in. Then at 9th, we have Rhode Island. They are not tax friendly whatsoever, and they have an insider monkey rank of 7.35 with a cost of living index of 112. Then at 8th, we have Massachusetts, obviously a very pricey state. A lot of the northeastern states obviously are a little bit more expensive. Then we have Vermont, another one of those northeastern states, currently have an insider monkey rank of 7.45 with a cost of living index of 104.9. Then we head out west, we have Utah. Right now they do have a cost of living index of 104.5. Then rounding out the top 5 at 5th, actually surprisingly, we have New York. I thought that would be closer to number 1 as the worst state to live in as far as making your Social Security benefits go the furthest. They have an insider monkey rank of 7.9 with a cost of living index of 126.5. Then moving on to 4th, we have Maryland. Then rounding out the top 3, we have Montana. They currently have a cost of living index of 103.1. And then moving on to the second worst state you can live in, as far as Social Security benefits go, we have New Hampshire. They currently have an insider monkey rank of 9.1 with a cost of living index of 115.6. And then finally, the worst state to live in as far as Social Security benefits go, not really a surprise. We have California. Obviously, the cost of living index at 136.4. They have the highest gas prices in the nation, so really isn't all that surprising there. But once again, let me know in the comment section below if you live in one of these states. If you don't live in one of these states, what do you think about the list? Should one of the states have been higher up on the list? Let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section below. Now, in some other news, we actually have some recent polling, like I mentioned, contrary to popular belief. A lot of Americans right now are kind of down on the Social Security program. What I've heard anyways is, a lot of Americans don't think that it's going to be around too much longer. We had those reports that in 10 years, it's not going to be around if they don't, do anything about it. I mean, it's still going to be around, but it's not going to be around at the same generous benefits that they give out now. I mean, I say generous kind of lightly, but if nothing is done, once again, in 10 years, they are going to have a cut of anywhere between 20 to 25%, meaning that if you're receiving $1,000 per month, then your benefits are going to go down to $750 to $800. But according to a Gallup poll, they actually shows here that half of U.S. non-retirees actually expect to receive Social Security benefits when they retire. So you can see that back in 2010, only 36% of non-retirees thought they would receive. Now 50%. 50% still isn't that good, but is that at a good bit higher than what they were at 36% back in 2010. Then the majority of U.S. retirees expect to avoid a cut in Social Security benefits. So even though, of course, we've had that data out there that shows in 10 years there will be some major cuts coming if they don't do anything about it, apparently the majority of people receiving Social Security benefits are pretty confident that they are not going to be receiving any cuts. They're confident enough, I guess, in lawmakers that they will get something done. But again, they're only 53% to 47%. So it's not like we have 90% of retirees confident they are going to get something done. 53% still isn't a large number, but I mean, still, greater than half. And then we have younger non-retirees now more likely to believe they will receive Social Security benefit when they retire. So that is another number that's going up. Obviously, a lot of younger Americans also think that they won't receive a single dime. Who really knows? But the majority of younger non-retirees now believe that they will receive a Social Security benefit when they retire. And then finally, here we have that Americans would rather increase Social Security taxes than curb future Social Security benefits. So The majority of Americans here at 61% say, hey, if we have to raise taxes, even if it's on me, I would be all for that. I would be for paying more taxes to make sure the Social Security program stays here for years to come and that I will receive Social Security benefits. Another interesting thing, especially considering that we currently have some bills in Congress that would do just that by raising taxes on certain Americans to keep Social Security benefits around and even increase Social Security benefits by as much as $200 per month. But that's all we have for today's video. I certainly hope that you enjoyed and found value out of it. If you did, again, I would greatly appreciate if you could give this video a like. Consider subscribing to my channel if you have not already, and I will see you in the next video.